March 12th, 2020, literally 1 week before the world shut down. My first closing in real estate was June 1st, 2020. And in the month of June, I had 5 closings to the tune of $1 million in buyer side transaction. For those of you who have not done the math yet, that's $27,000 in commissions in 1 month. The previous year, at a job I hated, I made $50,000. All but one of those closings came from social media, and all of them came from video. All right, feel free to take notes. I do not say that to brag, okay? I don't roll that way. I say it because it was in the first 3 months of being licensed that not only did I realize the opportunity that real estate agents have, that I had as a real estate agent, but I realized the power of social media, especially social media, leveraging something so powerful like real estate. In this video, I'm gonna share my thoughts on how to crush it in real estate with social media. These are my personal beliefs, and this is my approach. I will probably speak in absolutes throughout, because that's kind of how I roll, but it's because I believe them to be absolutely true for me. And that said, if I say anything that contradicts or is contrary to your genuine self, then don't pay attention to that part. Authenticity is the most important thing in all of this. I've been saying that since day one. Now, if you thought that you would just get licensed and post once to Facebook and once to Instagram, and that you're, hey, now I'm an agent, and then all your friends and your, family members would come crawling out of the woodwork, they just come pouring in, hey, please, I need help with this real estate transaction. Well, you probably have realized by now that that is not the case. Buying and selling real estate is an extremely important and high stakes experience for people. It's stressful too. So people need to know that you're a professional, okay? And professional, I mean, look at me, right? Professional does not mean dress nice or well-spoken or, a great salesperson. Professional means knowing what you're talking about, okay? And if you don't know what you're talking about, if in a particular situation, it means having the work ethic, having the personal ethic to find out things that you don't know. And there is no better way, I swear to God, there's no better way to get these things across than using social media and using video on social media. And so here's kind of what I think of as the mechanical best practices, just like the really simple, here are the things to do, and beyond that, you just need a little bit of creativity and you should be able to get these figured out. So I would say, pick 2 platforms. I don't care what those 2 platforms are. Whatever ones speak to you, probably whatever ones you use the most, right? It can be TikTok and Instagram. It can be TikTok and Facebook. It can be Instagram and Facebook. It can be Facebook and LinkedIn. I don't know anything about LinkedIn, but for sure, it can be all of those things. So, but pick 2, stick to them, and promise yourself that you're going to do the following and post in the following way for like the next year at least. If it doesn't work out, if you don't get anything from that, well, okay, then move on to something else. But if you do these things, people will reach out to you from these things, and your dollar per hour for doing that work will be extraordinary. Here is what I would recommend. I would recommend that you do at least 4 posts per week to all platforms, right? So that's why you're picking 2. I want 4 posts per week on both platforms. These posts can be redundant too. If you would rather post slightly different, posts to each one, cool, good. I think that's probably not a bad idea. But certain things can be redundant, and it's perfectly fine because people tend to have a favorite social media platform. I think all 4 of these required posts should relate to real estate in some way. Okay, you can post other things, personal things, things that are more about your personality and who you are and the things that you're into. In fact, I would encourage that, but those 4 have to be about real estate. So first of all, let me just say that I kind of think that content is a little bit of a dirty word. I try not to use it super often. I think it leads to mediocrity, right? I think it leads to putting things out, just putting out blanket content that doesn't help anybody, isn't interesting, that is just content for content's sake. But I'll use it for this video. So how do you come up with content ideas? First of all, new agents, This is your opportunity to learn. I took these videos, I had questions about how this worked. I asked somebody, I went and made a video about it. Me having to describe it made me much more, knowledgeable on the subject. It made me an expert on the topic because I had to take in the information, understand it so well that I could parse it out into a video. So please do not discount the fact that you can learn as you go. It's literally like you have a question, how do I blah, blah, blah. Okay, figure it out, make a video. I have videos really early on my channel. I still make these videos, by the way, for all my other channels. As simple as, how do I buy a house? Huh? That's about as simple as it gets. But some other spots to consider, some other spots to look for content that you can, be inspired from would be Facebook groups, right? All sorts of Facebook groups, from, real estate investment groups to first-time home buyer groups to locational groups. People ask questions in there, and look for questions that you have an answer to, or look for questions that you can find an answer to. Make a video on that exact concept. Look at other realtors, right? On Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, whatever. Find what other people are doing. Make your own version of it. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's only so many videos you can make. There's only so many things to talk about in real estate. So don't copy the style, but maybe copy the premise, right? Maybe say, here's a question, and how would I answer this question? And you can search for those people by just hashtag realtor, hashtag Minnesota Realtor, hashtag Minneapolis Realtor, hashtag home buying tips, hashtag first time home buyer. You can watch YouTube. YouTube has so many video ideas where people talk about them at length. And so you can take those long videos, parse it down to something shorter, something a little easier to shoot, a little easier to digest, and a little more suitable for social media. You can ask friends for ideas. You can ask your partner for ideas. Like, hey, I'm trying to make a video. What should I make it about? Do you have any questions about blah, blah, blah? Do you have any questions about this process? Do you have any questions about, I don't know, whatever, escrow? And then lastly, you should know your target audience, okay? You should have an idea of who you are trying to reach, who you're trying to help. Even if that's as simple as just my friends. Okay, well, what are your friends like? What are your friends into? What are your friends' financial positions and, life positions? And so, what videos might be helpful to them? And now within this content, dirty word, now within that, I have some rules, some do's and don'ts. So let me start with the things that you should, in my opinion, you should not do. If you're doing these, I'm not hating, I'm not talking crap. I'm just saying that these are things that I believe are not the right move when it comes to social media marketing. Number one is using stock images from some kind of social media content farm, some company that just has, hey, here's these generic images. I think those come across as generic. Also, do not brag about commissions. Don't brag about how expensive a home was either. I don't think it's off limits to talk about the cost of a home, but I don't think, anything in regards to like, this is a big one or most expensive house I sold. I think that comes off as greedy, and I don't think that is a smart move. Another thing not to do is tell people the benefit of getting an agent and why you should use a real estate agent. Most people are going to use a real estate agent, and so rather than saying blanket why you should use an agent, what you need to do is tell them, and subtly tell them, why they should use you. Maybe most importantly, I think the worst thing a person can do is complain. Complaining on social media is toxic, and I would not want to work with somebody who is just complaining about anything and everything on their social media platform while also advertising a service. But here's the things that you should do. You should show people that you're out there doing it. You should often be posting things from showings that you've done, from homes that you will list, from neighborhoods that you were in while you were out on showings. And this applies even if you're not actually that busy. Go do an agent preview and go show some homes. You should also be extremely genuine. Be as authentic as you possibly can. One of my favorite favorite pieces of advice when it comes to marketing and branding is that you are not trying to show people why they should like you. You should be showing people how they are like you, right? So show people how they are like you. Be relatable. Another, be honest, be helpful. And also, don't be afraid to tell somebody that something that doesn't directly align with you getting a commission. Saying that now might not be the best time for them to do blah, 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 or that you might not recommend that they do something that doesn't lead to you getting a commission will very likely lead to that person trusting you more. Trust is everything. And lastly, keep learning and keep turning that learning into stuff, into information that you can share with other people. And now for what is probably my least favorite thing that people do, that agents do, is they say, but I don't have a nice camera like you do, Jesse. I don't have nice gear. But look, here's the reality. Your gear doesn't matter. The type of equipment you're using doesn't matter. The quality of your content and the repetitive just release of that content is what matters. If you look at our social media page, all of the photos have been taken on an iPhone. Well over half of the videos on my YouTube channel have been taken on a GoPro, which I'm shooting this on right now. And real quick, look at this. I have this, okay? This is probably a $6,000 camera setup, and I'm using a GoPro. And anytime I shoot a video of a neighborhood, I use a GoPro. Anytime I post a story on social media, you have a phone, right? You have a phone. If you wanted to buy any gear at all other than a phone, which I assure you, you do not have to do, but if you did, first thing you should buy is a microphone. Upgrade the microphone on this somehow. And then you can just talk to yourself like this with a microphone, and it will sound better, so it will be more watchable. Then you could buy a tripod, and I swear to God, you can get tripods for $30 on Amazon. And the last thing that you might want to consider buying, I'm talking super budget, is a light. You can get a ring light, but put it next to you, or just get a softbox. If you're curious, feel free to ask me, but literally a $100 light on Amazon will improve your videos if you want to, but don't let that stop you. Shoot videos before you ever get any of that gear. Make it happen. What are you waiting for? Go get it.